one of the tools, right? So I'm going to look for structure that hasn't had its 50% here yet, right? Look at that. That's beautiful, right? Like I showed before, Wix left behind in, I mean, if you're just tuning in now, Wix left behind in premium. That's what I'm calling a scam level, right? That's your scam. Scam. That's your internal scam. That's what this was, right? That's why we moved down. It's literally why we moved down. Um, yeah, so that was really cool. You got this, what is it? Confluent factor of 2. Confluent factor of 2. Yeah, we have a confluent factor of 2. That's enough for us to frame a short, right? And a long, right? Because we're allowed to trade from 6 to 11. You could have taken the short from here. There's a confluent factor of 1 here, though, right? Unless, is there another tool that we have that aligns with that POC? Yes, the FX4OB. There you go. So now we have the short setup, which would have been, I mean, it's one thing to say, oh, it was just clearly a short there. It's like, yeah, but how would you have entered? Just on the retest. What's a retest? Sorry, it annoys me when people are so inspecific, because it's just an indication of um, people. Honestly, I'll just say, don't take it the wrong way, anyone, but you're scared to be specific. That's all. So once we run up here and hit that, then you're looking at an entry, right? What's an entry? Keep it on the 5 minute. You don't need to go to another time frame, honestly, just for your one shot, one kill type trades. Low, high, higher, low, higher, high. Is it? No. That's the higher. High, higher, low. Yeah. So that's a higher high, that's a higher low. High, low. Okay, so that is the structure that we need to see broken. Can't really see that. Give me a sec. Just make it green. Everything's green. I'm going for that pickle life vibe. All right, so low, high breakdown. Cool. Yeah, toxic waste chart. That's it. You know who inspired me? It was the engineer, right? Because he started putting all these toxic green RTH things, and I'm guessing he got it from the Matrix. So I'm guessing that's in reference to 2 degrees style. But yeah, I can't get it. I can sort of taste the color. It's visceral. Um, anyway, low, high breakdown. That's it. So I'd enter, and most people would be like, "Well, it's such a crap entry." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's probably got some juice. It's a dual confluent factor going on here. Plus, there's potential more factors. So I'd be in the body close below that, which happens in you'd enter on the next candle over, right? Um, let's just make it black. Yeah, so you'd enter on the next candle over, obviously, and so that's your entry, your range breakdown. Most people say it's an order block. It doesn't matter. It's a range break. Yeah. So, but then let's add on another tool, right? So DTT, was there something there? Yeah, literally just as you got a loss of this after 6 a.m., you hit the POC, right? Think of it in sequence. God damn. Think of it in sequence. You start 6 a.m. What do? We move up, hit the POC naked 12-hour previous point of control. Then what? We also create a new DTT um, root candle, literally there, and then we lose the previous one, right? And then we just fail to really break above. Yeah. But the main trigger, so this is to define confluent factors. You got one and then two, which is the block, and then three is so that had a confluent factor of 3, right? Which obviously means it's a tank. Yeah. Um, yeah. So confluent factor of 3 for the short. How would you have got in this long? Well, I just so happen to be able to see what this looks like low time frame, because that's a high that put in a low. So I would probably be looking at trading that low time frame, but I'm not telling you to trade at low time frame. I mean like sub 1 minute. But that's a high that put in a low, and then we closed above here. So I'd be in and around there. Um, yeah, so that was today. And look, we have this naked point of control up the top. So could that suggest that we're going up there? Yeah. And yeah, I've got a list of all this stuff, but this is stuff I'm just flicking through like in a glossary, you know, of tools that can have confluent factors, right? I might have the open, high, low, close stat map, yeah, and I'm just seeing if we push up whether we have a naked point of control up here. We actually do. It's just for some reason. Look, see that 22K, yeah, and you see it's at the we have a confluent factor if we get there, right? Before 11, because you ain't trading after 11 with this, for example. But it's really just your time range, that you find it most comfortable to trade in. Because uh, some people will be like, you never sleep. Oh, you trade all through Asia, and you're trading London, New York. I'm like, yeah, just because I do it doesn't mean you should. I got issues, man. Uh, I get sucked in. Well, it's mainly because people ask me. My message is pretty compact, but people ask me often, "What do you think about this? Can you help with this, etc." And I love to help, and so naturally I will help. And then that means I'm looking at the chart longer, where usually I wouldn't, or I probably better not looking at the chart if I want to go to sleep. But at that point in time, my mind is activated, and even if I try and go to sleep, I'm thinking about Enigma, and so yeah, it's kind of that. I'm not thinking about Enigma at the moment. Okay, what I'm showing you here is better than Enigma actually. Um, God, I'm an idiot. Well, hopefully I don't make too much of a fool of myself. But yeah, we've got. That was nice. Yeah, in and out. You're done. Enter at confluent factors. Exit at confluent factors. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really got much else to show you, honestly. And plus, I like to keep these things concise enough. I know Anthony's going to be saying, "Oh, don't worry, mate. I'll be watching it on 10x speed." Um, but yeah, I guess it's I'm okay with going through and answering questions. If anyone
Yeah,
has any
let's look at the
questions,
chat a little bit, and there's a
yeah.
NB has a question for you. Just says, just trying to remember what you said a couple minutes ago, and your current approach seems a little different from what you've heard him like say like a year ago. And I would just say that a lot of analysts obviously grow and have different experiences and utilize different tools as they see fit, as per
Well,
market
and
profiles and environments. So I
yeah,
wouldn't say that one person is always forever married to, let's say, one tool, right?
I mean, I've been trading for like I hesitate to say it's kind of crazy, but over a decade, um, and that means like proper trading, meaning like I wasn't just dabbling in it, I was sucked in because I had at the start of my journey, I had a significant loss, right? Usually the significant loss, well, I made a load of money and I lost it all. And it's like that stubbornness in you, right? So the stubbornness fuels your desire to continue to learn and figure out this thing that took the money away from you. You're like, no, I will not let it win, pretty much it. Yeah. But you use that as fuel to continue. And what that means is it was from there back to back every day. I'm trading, thinking about trading for 10 years, over 10 years. And so what I'm using even a year ago, I have more stuff. Um, uh, I'm going to sound like a knob now, but there are things that I don't post that I use. Um, as well, but I share a lot of stuff publicly. Um, I mean, I'm going to talk about someone in the community. I hope he doesn't mind. T trades, for example. I hope this isn't a problem. Well, he said there are some tools that he doesn't share publicly, right? So I think everyone has something like that. Um, you got to keep the mystery alive. Uh, but yeah, like what I'm showing now, do I trade this? Do I trade this? No, I don't, honestly. Could I trade this and would it make my life easier? Yeah, probably. Like I'm showing you something that I'd quite like to trade myself, right? Because it keeps me away from the chart, keeps me looking at the chart when I need to. A very clear criteria that gets me in the trade, right? And yeah, like, and it also gives me a list of tools that can satisfy environments where maybe the naked point of control isn't locally visible or available, right? And so you're going to be basing it off of maybe an internal scan, structural retest, and maybe it will be in collaboration with a stat map level. Maybe with, we haven't even looked at RTH gap here, right? Uh, I'm guessing that's showing, yeah, see, it's projecting the levels down. Maybe that's very interesting, actually. Yeah, if we break up here, it'll be interesting to see where the upper projections are. Or maybe we're entering based off of a dip to a deviation of RTH gap, which is in alignment with structure, right? So you just combine tools. This is confluent factors. That's what this is all about. So you don't have everything on all at once. You only have the things that are in locality to one another, at least two factors. So Noah used to be in my group, I remember, and it was purely gold back and turtle soup, which is actually really, you remember the future soup pattern takes me back. Um, yeah, like that that model still works, by the way. But I that's why if anyone's ever like, can you show me how you trade? I'm like, I'll show you just a few things that you need, right? And it's like me and my old mentor, now good friend Yoda, will say, if anyone asks, how do you trade with all these things? And I'll say, well, preferably, if I was just starting out trading today, I'd want to be taught just a few things that actually work, like in a simple way, right? Because unfortunately, I have all this stuff of potentials in the back of my mind. Because I didn't have this amazing resource like 2 degrees server with tools that pretty much you can design frameworks with. I went through the process of learning all the wrong stuff. Yeah. And then realizing, damn, this all this stuff sucks, man. Like, I feel like one day I know what I'm doing, but there's nothing mechanical about it. And but I remember all that stuff. And I can think back to my crypto trading days, NPOX. Well, I'm still using them right now, but I wasn't using them for a while, for a good few years. And I never thought really to use them with NQ because I think when I started trading NQ, um, I was kind of pretty much just trading it with ICT methods, right? So I guess I was still in exploration mode. So I'm still in exploration mode. But yeah, to answer your question, what I'm trading last year, I'm still thinking about that stuff, right? And sometimes it might find its way back in to my processes, but I'm not like, I do have a model that I trade every day, which is like my bread and butter. But aside from that, when I get bored, I'm always testing new things. So I think people often say, diving into rabbit holes is a fruitless task or process, but um, actually, that's where you find out new stuff. But it can certainly delay if you're not clear on your model, your bread and butter model, the model that you trade that has been shown to make you money relatively consistently. Yeah. Well, if you're not clear on that, you shouldn't be surfing through rabbit holes, that's for sure. You should be trying to find your groove with something mechanical and systematic. If this is actually probably one of the most useful things I could say right now, which is literally anyone who isn't profitable yet, or feels like they made money but they don't really deserve it. I have one guy who said that to me recently. He's like, "Yeah, what happened when I first started trading? I made all this money." I'm like, "Yeah, but you felt like you didn't deserve it." And he's like, "Yeah, because I had no idea what I was doing. It was just complete fluke that I managed to get payouts." Right. Well, that's one thing, right? But actually, having a model that you know and you're very confident with and you stuck to it for a long time. Actually, it reminds me of what FX for Living said recently in a chat somewhere. He's like, "Yeah, this is he called it my peanut butter or something." He's like, "I've been trading this model for so long. It's like what he means by peanut butter is it's just it comes naturally to him. It's like uh, just he's on autopilot when he's trading it, right?" Well, that's what you need to find before you start going, oh, Enigma this and uh, moon cycles that, GAN isosceles cuboid 360 backwards on acid. So yeah, you need to find your forever everyday super low CPU operating model that before you find all this other stuff. And I can experiment and test all this other stuff because I can trust myself to only trade that and not suddenly find a new tool and jump to that new tool, right? But I can only be like that because I know that if I don't trade the easy thing that I know that works, my life gets more difficult. So yeah, that's kind of it. I don't know if I answered your question, but yeah, I can sometimes change or add things to the pile of tools. Yeah. And plus I'm often looking through 2 degrees tools and being like, how can I implement that with this? Ah, I see. And when you're saying this is a confluent factors model, you're pretty much opening up the doorway for any one of these tools to provide you with strong levels. So I'd prefer to have no labels on any of these levels, right? And to train myself to just see them as glorified support and resistance, right? So you got weekly stat map distribution level at an endpoint, but I'm just like, oh, you got a line next to another line, uh, you know. Okay, we got scam level. Oh, we got a line, this black line next to these lines, with none of that label going on. If you can train yourself to think like that, then you're not really attaching a personality to the lines, are you? You're like, well, it is a stat map level. I better. That's the strongest one around. Oh, it's an MPOC. Those are pretty strong. Instead, you're like, well, it has a higher probability of providing a trade worth taking, is all, right? When they're in close proximity, right? Why? That's an interesting subject, actually. Why having one level next to another level means that level is stronger? Well, because you have a cohort of traders. This is a hypothesis as to why, like something that I was thinking about recently. I'm like, well, it's probably because some people are trading that level and there's another cohort of traders trading volume, right? Maybe there's a cohort of traders trading structure, right? And so if that's in proximity there, so you're getting a larger uh, collection of, well, that might just help you have the confidence to use it, right? And have, because I said this at the start of the call, trading successfully long term is 90% about belief, I would say. I think I said this the last call as well. So um, yeah, because if you believe in something, and no, I'm not saying that maybe there is a spiritual airy fairy element to it, which is if you believe, you know. But I choose to believe actually it's just that if you really believe something works, in all your cells believe, then you're more capable of executing emotionlessly and sticking to the instructions, knowing that it's going to work out. It's like the power of manifestation. Well, I choose to think of things in a less spiritual way, or a less arbitrary way. I'm like, why does manifestation work? Well, let's say you have a plan to manifest a certain outcome by the end of this month. Yeah. Well, you're going to be in a higher probability position of achieving that goal if you're thinking that it's going to occur, and therefore you are doing everything you can every single day to work towards achieving that goal. So you're literally way more likely to achieve that goal if you're thinking about it and thinking about how you're going to do it every single day, embodying that process of like, I need to be thinking about this every day. As opposed to the other guy that's like, I'm going to manifest just in my head, but I'm not going to do anything about it, you know, in the real world. So I think of it in a similar way. you know, Manifesting is kind of like the process by which you are believing that this setup works to the point where you effectively follow instructions and you don't deviate from them. Because why would you? If you deeply believe that it will have a positive outcome by following those instructions, why would you choose? It reminds me also of, sorry if Kane's here, but because I'm always talking about Kane, but when using him as an example, because he's a successful trader, but Kane's like, yeah, uh, you could have a setup, yeah, and it could be a high win rate. Good for you, he says. Good for you, right? And I'm like, he's like, cool. Like, if it works for you, great. But I'm not changing how I'm trading. It makes me money, right? And so traders that have found their groove, found their edge, found their simple process to follow every day. If it appears, they're in it. If the setup appears, well, they will fight to death to actually remove any opportunity of any outside influence to change that model that has made them the money that they have, right? So that is a big thing among successful traders. It will be very hard to convince them to start using a different tool. trade a different model. Um, yeah. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling a bit now. I like to keep these kind of short and sweet because trust me, I can talk for like 10 hours, and then you won't hear from me for 2 days because I would have burnt myself out. Um,
All right, well,
mm.
let's keep it light then, and we appreciate all the comments, obviously. Does anybody
I
have any
will answer the
questions that are
questions. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, regarding like specific tools that, any like settings or anything, I'd be happy to also like jump in there and answer any questions. Um, you kind of just get a real perspective with Future Code if you guys haven't noticed that, right? It's just a raw cut, a understanding of tons of features and tools that are out there and how to be familiarizing yourself with what a model looks like and how a model can deliver and creating a model. And you can see again that he doesn't have every indicator that's on the chart. He's only toggling when
There's
he
like,
feels that they're fit,
yeah.
right?
Hmm. Yeah. When they're nearby, I'll have them on. Um, I think this is something I struggle with so much, and I'm not the only one. You'll be like saying, "Yeah, that's me," which is having all the tools and then feeling like your chart's super messy, and then sort of feeling like a claustrophobic feeling where you're like, "Damn, I can't see anything. What am I even doing?" And so I'll periodically turn it all off and then add one thing back at a time and be like, through the process of removing everything, I'm able to do what? I'm able to go, if I do this, I'm like, okay, first thing we'll do volume. Okay, we had that naked volume there, cool. And we're referencing structure anyway, unmitigated. And then I'm like, okay, what else can we add? We'll add a oh, okay, we got a deviation where that mitigation happened. Sweet. Okay, cool. We also have another level here, the one in between the 0.25 and 5. And then, oh, we got the OB. Cool. And we're reclaiming it. So all of these sort of factors are allowing me to see where the confluent zones are. I even just quickly marked off there are 3 here, and then there were 2 there. At that point in time, you might even want to just box things off. I do that sometimes. I'm like, well, you see, we come up and we mitigate that 12-hour POC, which is here, by the way, 12-hour POC. And then what? So I'm going to mark this zone off here, right, as the bearish area. Yeah. Then I can turn that off, right? And then we have the bullish zone here with the confluent factors, right? So that's pretty much just this. Yeah. And then you're removing everything locally. And then sometimes I'm like, okay, well, if we're going to long here, maybe I'll just be all in, all out at the next zone, which would have been that bearish 4-hour order block on the FX4 in the hot source one. And then I might be like, okay, well, maybe I want to hold a runner, right? Well, you've got this naked, previous day naked H12 point of control, which happens to be, it's got a stack of 3, confluent factor of 3, right? So there I am once again with my bearish box. Anything above us is bearish zone, right? For now. And so I'd use that to the lowest level. So just the, yeah, so, and then you're able to remove stuff at that point, right? And can you remove that? That was cool. Yeah, and then suddenly your chart's super clean. And everyone wonders what the hell allowed you to get such an amazing trade, right? And you're like, I don't know, it was just a feeling. You can be one of those mystery men. Oh, it's just a feeling. Everyone hates those guys only because they want to be them. Yeah, that's all it is. Anyway, I'm gonna start yapping about nonsense. So
All
yeah.
right. Well, it doesn't look like there's any other questions in here, and I know that you guys want to hear Future Code talk all day, but he's here to answer any questions. But it seems like the serious questions that were asked in terms of the indicators, personality, experience. There's valuable insights in there. So.
Yeah, I
Um,
think I think
the
there's a
FX4
probably like
indicator is the hot sauce indicator. There was somebody asking in there,
yeah,
so like just make sure that you're also aware that, FX for living has, a couple of indicators that have been coded by 2 degrees, and you can check that out. That's inside of our Discord as well. You should be able to look at it.
nice. And I'll share this chart anyway, so like you'll have all the way I've set it up. And you can go ahead. It's like it reminds me of that show in the UK called Art Attack. It's like now you can go and make it yourself. Here's one I made earlier. You can go ahead and make it yourself. So yeah, you can design your own confluent factors. I'm sure you've got some ideas already, right? Stacked zones, confluent factors. Yeah. And of course there are fair few more tools that you could use part of the collection. So this was
You got
just my idea late last night.
you got a quick question about the range deviation settings. Those are time-based ranges that you have. And they're again just 2 to 5. You could see that. And then the
And
other
then
ones were the Asia session.
Asia,
So
yeah,
midnight New York.
to midnight 30. I only do midnight 30 because that's what it says on the DTCC website is Asia. So um, I
The
also think
DECC
ICT
is
would,
just that's a cheat code, honestly. For anyone that
yeah,
hasn't
DTC,
watched that live stream, I definitely tell people to go back and take a look at
find
that.
that one. Yeah,
That's on your
DTCC.
YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think I make any reference to DTCC in the notes, so you might have to just go and watch all my videos. But yeah, it's somewhere in there in a previous 2 degree stream. No, he keeps that one
No,
secret. No, no.
no, NB, he's talked about it. He's talked about it. He's talked about it.
Yeah, for sure. Uh,
Okay,
yeah,
but it
yeah,
looks
yeah.
like there's no other questions. I guess we can just kind of like stop the recording, and whenever you have some free time, just post it up and we'll get it hooked up into the database. And if
That's
anybody else
beautiful.
is again still has any questions for you, then
Welcome,
just give
Noah.
us a ring in the general chat. And yeah, I'm gonna do uh I'm gonna do something. I don't really know what that is.
You're
But
gonna do something.
yeah, yeah. I just have to be discreet right now.
I see. Hmm. I mean, I've got all of the things under the sun in my imagination right now. I don't need an excuse.
It's gonna be low
But
key
yeah,
for anyone that's just paying attention. Just like shout out to the people that are actually out here constantly supporting. I'm not gonna tag the public or anything like that, but we appreciate you guys being here. So if you have an active subscription, just hit the party button.
The party button
nice.
is crazy.
The pie bun is just all the way out to the sun. Is this for 3 days free to
Yeah,
subscribe? Yeah, subscriptions.
yeah.
I see.
Shout out to Quick Pips.
Huge.
Quick,
Huge.
Quick Pips. We appreciate you showing up and supporting. Just ensure that you're here. If you're not here and you can't send a message, awesome, perfect. All right. Well, congrats to you all. Appreciate you guys all being here. Be easy. Quick Pips. Open a ticket and we'll get you hooked up. We appreciate everyone's support. Okay. Be safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Realize that Powell is speaking. Trump is on Forex Factory. So just be mindful. Love you all. All right. Take it easy.
Ciao,
Bye,
ciao.
Much
everyone.
love, family. Peace out.
Thank you.
Bye bye.